You are a warrior.
Vintage Radio SG summons our weekend warrior.
Hi, I'm Jonathan and I'm your weekend warrior.
Our listeners take over the airwaves.
I am an arranger, a musician, a producer, and a songwriter, so I'll share more with you this weekend.
Who's ready to be a DJ for the day?
It's me, Jonathan Koh, Xu Huaqiang.
Our Weekend Warrior series, Saturday at 10 a.m. with a repeat on Sunday at 4 p.m.
The Weekend Warrior.
Only on Vintage Radio SG.
And it's Weekend Warrior time right here on Vintage Radio SG. And today I've got seated in front of me a legend, I would say. A legend with many, many hats. He's a sessionist, guitarist, arranger, producer, songwriter, recording engineer. Basically, he does beautiful things with music and, of course, with the guitar as well. I'm talking about Jonathan. Hey, Jonathan.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, and thank you for making arrangements for us to be here in this wonderful place called City Music.
Yeah.
This is kind of like your Graceland, right?
Yeah, because I have a very good relationship with the people here. They're really, really, really kind to me.
Oh, I would suggest it's a two-way traffic.
No. Because when I first started the YouTube channel, they were one of my main supporters back then. Yeah.
And speaking of which, yes, he does have a YouTube channel as well. And it's called John is Too Loud.
No, John is just too loud.
Oh, John is just too loud. Okay, we're going to come to that in a while. But right now, Jonathan, I would like to delve into, as always, what was little Jonathan like? You know, diapers, shorts.
Nothing much of the extraordinary. I love music though. I love music.
So you came out straight away like, music?
No. I think both my parents are very musical. I think the earliest memory that I had was me walking. But after that, the next memory that I had was me in kindergarten, probably about four years old, and then drinking my milk bottle and touching the dust on the floor and listening to South Pacific.
South Pacific?
Yeah.
Wow.
Bali High.
So your parents were more into the musicals?
My dad is a funny guy. He's from Chinese high school, okay? And he's like typical Chinese
the helicopter.
Yeah. So, but he loves all things Western. He loves Western movies, Western musicals, Western food.
Wow.
Yeah. And
but not Western wife lah.
No lah. Thank God. Yeah. In any case, he named me in a very patriotic Chinese name, Xu Huaqiang. So Xu is my surname, Koh. Hua is 华人的华, Qiang is 强壮的强. Means Chinese are always strong. So he's very patriotic.
Right.
Yeah, but as the years went by, he sent me to SGI.
Wow.
St. Joseph Institution.
That is
Hi,
like,
guys.
Yeah, 180.
Yeah,
okay.
And there, I proved my weakness in the Chinese language. I fail every year.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, from St. Anthony's Boys' School to SGI, just like zero all the way.
Okay, so that's what we call 满江红lah.
I don't know. I think your Chinese is better than me.
Oh, I don't think so. So, your exposure to music very much through your dad lah.
Yeah, and I remember singing on the buses. Very frequently. We will take long buses, right? And then I will be singing.
Whatever that you can recall lah.
Yeah. So I think the best memory I had was my cousins listening to Rediffusion. Beatles.
Oh.
At the time, Beatles was really hot. This is back in 1966. I remember hearing Hard Day's Night and going, wow, that sound.
Yeah.
It's so good,
Okay. Well, I'm going to come back and talk more about, your passion into the 6-string instrument, right? But before that, we're going to go into the music that you selected. It's quite a nice range, all from the 70s mostly, but a couple of 60s. So we're starting with Annie's Song by John Denver. Okay lah, Mr. John Denver, guitar, all that. But what's the story behind that?
I think John Denver is the starting point of my guitar playing journey. Because I love his song so much, especially Annie's Song, which I think is such a beautiful song. And I just wanted to learn the song. And I pestered my dad to buy me a guitar, which he bought from TMA.
Wow.
If you guys remember TMA, that's in North Beach Road. And he bought me a real cheapo guitar. So the string action is really high. And I had a hard time playing it, but I persevered. And I will go and buy these books, with with all the chords on top of the lyrics. and all
The
that.
let's
Yeah, let's
something like-
play or something like that.
Yeah.
And I would buy a bunch of these and I would learn the songs.
Oh, lovely. You know, I would claim to have the same start as you, as in John Denver, Country Roads, that was what I want. Learn from a friend's guitar,
Yeah.
give up.
I never did.
Okay, well, that's the difference between us. Let's go with that song right now. Any song, John Denver, song choice of our weekend warrior, Jonathan Koh. And that was Stephen Bishop with Save It for a Rainy Day, right here on Vintage Radio SG, a song choice of Jonathan, our weekend warrior. So, Jonathan, what's the story behind that?
Stephen Bishop. All right. So we spend Sundays watching football in the afternoon.
As with a lot of people.
Yeah, FA Cup. And then around 11 something, there will be this station going on. They play all the latest hits. Back then, we're talking about like in the 70s. And Stephen Bishop came on air, Save It for a Rainy Day. And I was like so enthralled by his singing and the whole song, because there was Eric Clapton on the solo anyway. And I said, boy, if I was a musician, I want to be like him. You know, and that kind of inspired me in more ways than one. And I can remember those days because it was so simple. There was no handphones, you know, just me and my family. My dad would take his beer after lunch and he'll go to take a nap, and we'll be like, I'll be hanging around with my friends playing football. And there was always music. Always
Right.
music, yeah.
Okay. So, you persevered with your guitar?
No, back then I wasn't even playing guitars.
Oh,
Yeah, I was
Okay.
like this guy who just loved music, but you know.
but nothing seriously. Okay, cool. And what was it like? How did you actually move towards, you know, music as a eventual career?
Oh, that was much later on because I started playing seriously back in '76, I guess, after secondary 4, and I was very much into like Eagles and all that, you know, Hotel California, the Santanic song. So I was all into that, and I had a group, a small group comprising of some schoolmates as well as some other guys, all close friends, and we would like jam every weekend.
So that was when you were at SJI, right?
Yes, that's
Okay,
what
so
SJI.
that's a school which I think has a lot of
Yes, definitely.
musicians and
Yeah.
artists and all that coming from.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're a right bunch lah.
Yeah, Red Bunch. We got like Chris Ho, you got Paul Chong, we got Jeremy Montero.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
yes.
you got a whole bunch. Jeremy Montero was in the same year as me, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, anyway, so that's how it evolved. And I think I wasn't into really seriously into guitar until one day when I was jamming with my friends. I was attempting the solo for Hotel California, and I suck really big time. Okay, and this brother of my drummer came up to me and says, "John, I gotta tell you the truth. This is one of the worst, big expletive solo I ever heard." And I stood there. I don't know what my reaction was. I wasn't crying, but I was affected. So I went home and I really like, last time you had the vinyl thing with a needle. So I was going through the same solo over and over again, playing and trying to nail it, which I nailed it after 2 weeks.
Oh, two weeks.
Yeah, note for note. And then I went back to the studio and he was there and I played the whole solo and he came up to me, he gave me a hug, and said, "There you go." And that was the start. And that was like a breakthrough for me because back then I was just like fooling around, just playing shit. Sorry.
So no, it's okay. But
Pardon my French, yeah.
2 weeks and you got it down.
Yeah. And that's where I learned how to listen to songs using my ears.
So it's not like reading the Tauges and all
No,
that.
I don't read. I
Right.
never read, and I never have until today.
I think a lot of it is very much talent. A lot of it is the ability to, and some would call it like you have that ability to just get the tune.
That's right. I think it's a
perfect
blessing.
pitch,
I think it's a blessing. I think God made me the way I am because I'm so, how should we call it, sensitive to music. So when I hear like string parts or anything, I can just pick it up.
And that's from just normal listening, not like somebody guided you going like, "Hey, John, so now when you listen to this piece,
No. That was just natural for me.
is it?
I could hear stuff like timpales and triangles and
Wow.
pick up certain instruments.
So that kind of help you in your future endeavors, like arranging, producing, all that.
definitely. Yeah.
Wow, cool. Okay, we're gonna go with more of your music right now, and you've selected something from Olivia Newton John. Have you ever been mellow? What's the?
Oh man, I love her. I was so sad when she passed on. She was my teenage flame.
She's the teenage flame of a lot of
Almost
person, including
everybody.
me, lah.
So I used to carry her photos in those files that we carry to
Yes,
school.
the pictures, the posters, right?
And then beneath the plastic covering, I would have pictures of her.
Wow.
And I would always like listen to her because she's got wonderful range, sweet voice, such musicality, such a wonderful singer.
Plus, she's kind of beautiful.
So she's, I wouldn't say that. Yeah, she's really beautiful.
It's okay. We're all adults here, so we can go with that. All right, let's go with that right now. ONJ, have you ever been mellow? Well, you just heard from the Beatles with Eleanor, Rigby, a song choice of Jonathan, our weekend warrior. So, John, what is the story behind that?
Eleanor, Rigby, quintessential British, very, very gothic. When I was exposed to it the first time, I'm going like, God, that music is so nice.
No, you can say, God damn.
Yeah, no. With the cellos and the string arrangement, I think that was like, for me, the perfect picture of what I had for Beatles back then. I love the song to bits, until today. Yeah.
Oh, lovely. So coming back to your life, back then after school, it was national service and all that, right? How was that for you? Because I think a lot of folks have different experiences from...
Yeah. National service was fun for me. I nearly signed on, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, but then I changed my mind.
Good on you.
Yeah, I was a combat engineer, recce scout.
Wow.
Yeah, so many platforms, I know. So I applied for MDC. And
Music and Drama Company.
Yes, right. Yeah, because there was a anti-drug song competition. I came in 9th. So they asked me for an interview, and one of the questions is, do I dance? And I said, no, I don't dance, and I never will. And that's it. Don't call us. They'll call you.
Okay, and they never did call you.
Yeah.
Wow. I would suggest that they lost out on the talent because...
It's okay.
I mean, I can't see people like Jeremy Montero dancing, but he was in MD.
Well, you can
Sorry,
play.
Jeremy.
The guy can play.
Yeah, I know. You can play
yeah,
too, right? Yeah.
But back then I wasn't that good. I wasn't really that good. I was okay, mediocre at best, but like not really good. And finished my stint, my 2 years, and came off. Started work in Philips, Singapore, and that's where I've got exposed to guys who are actually doing gigs part time. And then this guy came and asked me whether I want to play, as a part-time musician. I said, okay, why not? And I hooked up with this bunch of guys. They're all Malays. I'm the only Chinese there, but they are so gracious to me. And one of them is a teacher, a music teacher. And I just recently hooked up with him. Just recently, like 2 days ago or 3 days ago.
Oh, okay.
He's staying in JB right now.
Wow.
So if you're listening, hi, Muhammad. Cikgu Muhammad.
Okay,
He's the one who kind of taught me all the things that I need to learn, like singing parts, harmonies, and stuff like that. And he loaned me a Gibson SG.
Wow.
And we started playing for company gigs, and that's how I got exposed to playing the band more or less semi-professionally.
But you got paid lah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So nothing's for free. So I would, the thing is that you have multiple hats, right? So when very quickly, did you discover that part of your life, and then?
Oh, that's much later on. Like after my second job, after the Philips thing, I decided to go full time. Well, in case you guys are interested in all what I'm talking about, you can tune into my YouTube channel because there is a video especially for that, how I progressed from non-professional to professional, and I went full time with a band. That's where my music career started, and I was so blessed because a lot of my band members are all so gracious to me. They taught me a whole lot of stuff.
So you actually have that experience where there's not so much of those backstabbing and all those.
Yeah, I mean that
politics,
happens, but not to me. I think I was so protected by my band members, and especially by God, I guess. But it's like all I did was to learn. I was like a sponge,
right.
And I was learning left and right from great guys like Iskandar Ismail, who exposed me to my first recording session.
Right.
To guys like who are still, some of them who are retired, most of them are retired, but they were so nice to me. They taught me all the things that I knew.
I think it's also a personality thing, as in
I don't know. I was a bit of a dog, a bit of a nerd last time, Skinny burger. They thought I was on the drugs,
No, but I think, sometimes musicians rub other people the wrong way because while they are a bit of an introvert, right, it comes across as being standoffish.
Yeah, it comes off as being arrogant.
Yeah, and then I think that's where all the friction starts. But if you're there and you describe yourself as nerdy,
I think I've seen firsthand how. I don't think it's just predominantly musicians. I think everyone is capable of doing that, backstabbing.
Yeah, well, that's true.
inferiority complexes and all that. Yeah.
Okay, that's getting a bit heavy. So let's go with something lighter right now. 10cc, People in Love. It's something that we don't quite get. So what's the story?
10cc is one of the most intelligent rock bands ever.
That's a interesting description.
Yeah, the lyrics are so spot on. Listen to this album called Deceptive Bands.
Deceptive Band.
It will change your life, right? And in there are like 3 hits, but it's the whole album, the whole concept, the production. Those guys, Eric and Graham, they are like the offshoot from the main original 10cc, but they carry on the 10cc legacy in such a beautiful way. So People in Love is one song that I really love singing to. And Eric Stewart, I think his name is, he actually inspired me to pick up guitar really, really seriously back in terms of melodic structure, like how I should play a solo melodically instead of just winging it. So he's one of my influences.
Cool. Yeah. Let's take a listen to that right now and see what if it changes your life. I really love to see you tonight, and that's the song title of that song. England Dan and John Ford Coley, a song choice of Jonathan, our weekend warrior. So John, what's the story behind this song? The
romanticism of the song itself. The album is really nice. So much good songs in it, and guitars. And I love England Dan's voice. He's like one of my major influence in terms of vocals. Kind of like pop and country, but mainly country, and one of the best vocalists around. So that song kind of inspired me to do all sorts of things in terms of music.
And in terms of music, you do all sorts of things like arrange, produce, sessions, and all this, right?
Yeah.
So how does that go?
I guess because back then there was a vibrant local music scene, and guys like Tony and Terry were coming out albums. Tanya came on an album. Tracy Huang, I also had a crush on her. Yeah. Matthew and the Mandarins.
Listen,
Yeah. Oh, hi Tracy. We met many years ago. Anyway, Matthew and the Mandarins, and these guys were all like Singaporeans. The sessionists like Martin Perella, Reggie Verghese, the late Reggie Verghese, Shah Tahir, Jimmy Lee, Tony Z. So these guys are all like session musicians, and I wanted to be like them, which Iskandar Ismail, the late Iskandar Ismail, gave me a chance too. So I became a sessionist back in 88, 89. And back then, there were a lot of Taiwanese that came over to record their albums. You might ask why, but I guess because Singapore back then was very, very international in many ways, because we listened to American, British, and all sorts of music. So, and we were heavily influenced by all this. So we are able to depict all these styles when we do recording. And that's
so
why
very versatile.
Yes, very, very versatile. And in the 90s, I quit my band night scene, and I went to work full-time in the studio, recording studio with the late Vincent Lim. Worked with him. I became a recording engineer. And at the same time, I was doing recording sessions with these Taiwanese people. So I was doing like 2 jobs at one time.
Many hats lah.
Yeah. Well, not really, because I wasn't into production then.
Okay.
Yeah. And then a couple of years later, Eric Moo asked me to be his producer. That's where I started my the journey to becoming a producer.
Right.
And that's how it got started.
So I would suggest that you have pretty much like what do you say a nicely guided path with everywhere along the way, kind of blessed lah.
Yeah. So I believe all this is like something that God has kind of prepared me for, because right after that I started writing songs, and then I wrote a hit song for Ame, 解脱, and it became a big hit. And right after that, a lot of people started asking me.
So how did that come about? I mean, like, what inspired you to write a song for her, or was it like you're penning something and then like, 这个你要不要唱?
Initially, I wrote this song for Eric.
Oh.
Yeah, but he didn't like it. So not that he didn't like it. It just felt like it's not suitable for him.
It's not me.
Yeah.
I don't feel it.
Because I wrote that song in half an hour.
Oh wow!
And I wrote it in Hong Kong, so it was just done with the melodies and sent the tape to Taiwan. They took it, they put lyrics into it, and then my good friend Paula Ma called me one night and said, "You want to hear how the song is depicted?" And I go like, "Okay." And there was this singer, unknown singer called Ame. Yeah, and she sounded so good. I said, "Wow." So in the end, I wrote 2 songs for her first album.
So can lah, you can sing that one. Hey.
Still is.
Understatement of the year. Okay, we're gonna take a break and listen to more of your song choice right now because you've got Faithless Love by J.D. Souther.
I first heard the song because of Samuel Hui.
Yeah, you were talking to me earlier about this. How does
Samuel Hui
that
came on a cover album back in the 70s, and there were a whole bunch of songs that he covered, and one of the songs was Faithless Love. And it got me interested, so I kind of like went into a rabbit hole and found out that the actual...
Back then got no internet lah.
Yeah. But I found out that the actual singer was J.D. Souther, the actual songwriter, and I fell in love with his music after that.
Wow, lovely. Okay, let's take a listen to that and see if we can hear the reason why you fell in love with it. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road by Elton John, a song choice of Jonathan, our weekend warrior. You do quite a bit of touring now, and you're a regular with Eric Moo.
That's right.
But who started you on that touring path?
This singer called Carmen. This is back in the early 90s, and that was my first on-the-road gig.
Was it anything that you expected?
I was nervous for the first show, but after that, it was like, okay. I met a lot of people and made some very good friends, lifelong friends. And good experience, you know. And right after that, Eric came along, asked me to tour, and I did. And then Ame came, and then subsequently many other artists. So I've been touring quite a lot since then.
So when on these trips, on these tours itself, are you the only Singaporean or?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes.
Right? So okay, I'm imagining tours, shows, and all these concerts, and all that people, and then you are out there like shredding it and all, and then after that, as always, people will introduce the band members, right? So what's the reaction like when they say, "Oh, Jonathan," and they say, "From 新加坡来自海外."
As usual, I don't think they have a special preference for Singaporeans.
Right.
Yeah, but especially when we did Ame, when the band was essentially all Singaporeans. So when we came into Singapore to do a show, the response was like crazy, like homegrown talent.
Yeah, homegrown and all that, right? And I don't think a lot of people expected that, right?
Not really. We have Singaporean musicians who are actually on the circuit right now, touring all over the place.
Really?
For Ame, for all the big acts, a lot of Singaporean musicians. And I think the rationale behind that is the same as what I spoke about when they first came over Singapore for recording.
Right.
Because we are exposed to so many forms of music, and we are very versatile.
But that is something that is not known by a lot of people. It's like a lot of Singapore talents actually touring and performing with big names, right?
That's right. Like China, for example, is such a big market. Like so many shows going on at one time. There are music festivals, individual concerts. And all this you can find sometimes a lot of Singaporeans involved.
Right. So, I mean, I'm like looking at the current Singapore scene versus back in the 60s and 70s, right? World of difference.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In terms of recording artists' names and
Yes.
selling albums, we don't have that.
Yeah, I think it comes down to the point where Singaporeans became so engrossed in in thinking that anything foreign from Singapore is better. Like all the music that you hear is better if it's made elsewhere.
Right.
And that became a crutch for the local music industry because there are a whole lot of nice, talented local musicians. A lot of them made it, like Yanzi, Sun and Tanya Chua and all these people. They made it, but they had to make it in Taiwan in order to make it into the international
Even sometimes
scene.
when you make it overseas, when you come back, people are like,
Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
like that's how
foreign
that's how Jesus felt. When he came back to his hometown, who are you? Yeah, I'm the Son of God. Anyway, so that's how it is, and so it's very, very heartbreaking to see local musicians not having that recognition that they should.
Right.
But as the years went by, the whole society is so used to this that I guess became complacent in many ways.
Okay, so let me just throw this out there, right? Is there an opportunity for us to maybe organize something where it is just like macam, okay, you're giving me the look now.
So you're instigating me into saying something. Yes, the government should do something about it.
Okay.
Like the South Korean government did something about it because they know this is a money-churning industry.
Yes.
So they pour everything into the music
So they got the K-pop
and film industry. Yeah. So I think Singapore should look into this and not just a classical scene. you
Well,
know.
I think Singapore, I mean, they sponsor, Sharknado.
No, it's
my God.
nothing like that.
Yeah.
You know, you need a working union to protect the rights of local musicians so they don't get paid peanuts.
And then they actually have a platform and opportunities to perform,
Exactly.
hone their skills.
So they
and
have
all
this busking system going on, which I
Right,
think is
right.
great.
that. Right.
You know, but again, it could be better.
Yeah.
But we're talking about the club scene.
Right.
You know, so after COVID-19, the clubs are closing like really early, which is good in bad.
Yeah,
So-
but I mean, right now I hardly find clubs with a regular house band.
yeah, very seldom.
Right, not like back in the day.
Oh,
you go
yeah,
to a certain
yeah,
place, you know who's playing there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Nowadays you got to like, hey, brother, where you playing? Huh?
Yeah.
Where? You sure or not? Where the hell?
But
Yeah.
I just hope the government would do something about it, and kind of encourage local musicians.
Okay, I'm going to go out on a limb here. If approached, will you come up with a blueprint for them? Because I think that's what they need.
I'm too old for that. My mind don't work like it used to.
Okay.
But I'm sure there are guys who are able to do this, no problem.
No, but you need folks who are in the industry who have paid their dues and know what it's
No,
all
we need
about.
folks like in the industry who are trustworthy.
Right.
Guys that local musicians can look up to, and who can trust,
Right.
who can be trusted.
Okay, we're going to come back down and touch a little bit more about that right now, but we've got Queen and Tie Your Mother Down. It's kind of like naughty, but we'll come back and talk about this as well. But once again, that's Queen for you and Tie Your Mother Down. You naughty boy, lah, John. Why this song?
Even though I'm quite a well-behaved guy, a boy, or teenager, or a young man, I am a rebel at heart. So, yeah, that song is like a perfect example of how sometimes our teenage angst will break through,
Yes.
and we just want to go party. So tie your mother down so we can go party, But a great song, a great rocking song by Queen.
Okay, I want to bring you back to what we touched on earlier, right? About the Singapore music scene and all this. What in your mind, we kind of feel that, something that the government should do, or there should be some support on that. But really the question is what? Because I think a lot of people are just kind of clueless as to what can be done or what should be done. So how does that, in your mind,
I think we need to protect our local interests, like local musicians. Like there must be a quota on foreign musicians coming into the market, to the music scene.
Okay.
There must be. In fact, we insisted on one many years ago, decades ago, but nothing was done about it.
Okay.
So we were flooded by foreign musicians, coming in and taking up local jobs. But before that happens, we need to instill a discipline among our local musicians, like get your homework done, do practice. Learn about entertaining and not just sitting down and play and looking at your iPads, learn how to memorize songs, play properly, be in tune, and all
Right.
that sort. Like what we used to do back in the day.
There was a...
We were dancing on stage, we were like doing skits.
Yeah.
We were doing everything theatrical. right?
Entertain.
Yes, entertain.
Yeah.
Come and are you not entertained?
Yeah.
You're gonna ask the audience after. I'll say, are you not entertained? Yes, you are. Thank you. And that's where we boost up our worth as a band, and then we
Right.
get paid more.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you're not gonna get paid more if you're like mediocre,
Oh, just come listen to me. I'm very good. Right. Okay.
No. What do you have for dinner? This had to stop. So the government has to do something about this to stop the influx of foreign musicians.
Okay.
And then we can work slowly, step by step, in stages.
Apart from that and creating that environment, is there any ways that can be done to influence or make it easier for clubs to actually have more resident opportunities?
Yeah,
that people
so-
can hone their craft.
Part of the equation is also the clubs. They have to kind of shoulder some of the burden as well. But I think all that can be done through exposure for government policies, basically. I'm really sad because two of my daughters, which are really incredibly talented, and they wanted to take up music full time.
Be like daddy.
Yeah. They were so inspired. They wanted to go to La Salle, and I said, over my dead body, And they go like, "What, Daddy?" I said, "No, you
Go to
cannot.
law school."
Not at this time. You finish your studies, finish your university, and then later on, if you want to go and do weekend gigs, fine, go ahead." And that's a sad case.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, I would say, yeah, go for it. Be an artist, be a songwriter, but not today. So I think my heart goes out to the young musicians these days because I know a lot of them are really talented. A lot of them are really hardworking. They pay their dues, but they're not getting the exposures. So I think all of us, including me at this age, this ripe young age of 64, 63, in a few days' time I'll be 64. I'm still like always examining myself, like am I dressing up well? Am I playing good? Am I singing in pitch? Am I doing things the right way? Like I have my YouTube channel, sometimes I'll miss out certain stuff and go, oh damn, what did I missed out this, I missed out my color correction. I aim to be perfect.
Right.
So I'm not a perfectionist, but I try to be perfect.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? I mean, I've met with younger musicians before, and they were all very affected by the likes and dislikes when it comes to social media.
Yeah, so for me, I don't give a dang about that because these are like people who are like keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
They can see a lot of stuff, but when it comes to the crunch, they can't do it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, your music sucks. Okay, good. Just do your music and let me hear about it.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, unless it's coming from Elton John, okay, now I'll take this and oh, Elton John says, okay, but if it's not, you're not. I get so much criticism in YouTube channel, right? And we are living in a society where people do not listen to music with their ears; they're listening it with their eyes.
You're right.
You know, so every artist that comes out has to be presentable, good looking, even though they can't sing for for what. I don't care; they look good. You know, so. We are in this society right now, and that has to change. And it's very predominant in China.
So your advice to young budding musicians is, while you want to use social media and all that, don't let the negativity and the cancer.
Yeah, never did, because the people will always have things to say. You know, there's so much things to say, but you have to examine yourself. You are your best own critic.
And listen, I guess, to people in the industry.
Who loves you?
Yes.
Okay, people who cares about you. People who don't just pat your back. Guys who say, hey, dude, the last song you sang flat.
Yep.
You know, guys who are honest about this. You need people like that. But you don't need people say, hey, you suck, go home. No, you don't need people like that. Yeah, honest feedback.
Honest feedback, yes. Cool. You know, Jonathan, it's so wonderful for you to spend time with us. And again, thank you so much for arranging this place in City Music for us to record this thing, because we're nomads right now. All the very best to you.
Thank you.
And we hope to catch up soon.
Yes, sure. All the best to you.
And here's the song that you've asked for, Eric Carmen, All for Love.
Yeah, beautiful songwriter. Sadly just passed away recently. Wrote a lot of songs like all by myself and all that. But beautiful, beautiful musician. I just love his music a lot.
Let's take a listen to that now.